Hello, my name is Andrea Bassi and I'm here to introduce you to the LECB Green Economy and System Dynamics course. This first video is to give you an introduction on what is going to be presented and studied for this course. And we have several modules that account for both green economy and the use of system dynamics as methodology to support green economy assessments, both at the national level but also the provincial level and for private sector applications. To begin with, Module 1 addresses green economy and green growth definitions and rationale. So with this module you will have a better idea of what is a green economy, how it is defined, and how it can be customized at the local level to make sure that it is relevant to development planning exercises. The second module is about green economy policies. The green economy is an umbrella, so it has to do with several different types of sectoral applications and policies. So in this case we'll be analyzing the role of investments to begin with, capital investment allocation, as well as mandates and laws as targets applied into law, as well as incentives and disincentives, and finally interventions that will support behavioral change. We'll analyze them in detail, also addressing what can be gained if these are implemented at the same time in conjunction with one another. Module 3 will introduce green economy strategies. So it really has to do with what type of analysis should be done to make so that a green economy intervention package can be designed. So we'll start by looking at, for instance, stock-taking exercises, an initial assessment of what has been done, what worked and what doesn't work, a review of the targets and goals that are already available and approved or generally shared among the stakeholders, to then proceed to policy analysis, the development of an action plan, an investment plan, and then project assessment tools. After having seen what are green economy policies and strategies, we move on to the specific tools that can help the development of a green economy plan. The first one we look at is indicators. After Rio Plus 20, indicators have gained a lot of relevance because they allow us to measure both progress but at the same time also to look forward into what are the likely impacts across social, economic and environmental dimensions of our actions or green economy interventions. So we'll be looking at indicators that have to do with the identification of the problem, first step of the policy cycle, then also indicators for policy formulation and assessment as a second step of the policy cycle, all before these interventions are being implemented. And then we'll also see how indicators can be used to do monitoring and evaluation of interventions over time after they have been implemented. A second tool for green economy assessment that is proposed in this course is the use of a system dynamics methodology. This is a methodology that was created in the late 1950s at the MIT in the United States and has been used since then both by the private sector and the public sector to assess the suitability of interventions. System dynamics focuses on causal relations, so it allows to model reality in a more truthful or realistic way than many other models do, and it also allows to incorporate social, economic and environmental factors in one single framework of analysis. So its strength is really the flexibility and adaptability to local conditions. Module 5 is fairly long and it has a lot of content. We'll start with an introduction to the methodology to then lead into the modeling process. This is where we'll analyze what it takes to develop a model. So we start with the analysis of a problem because every model is built for a specific purpose. Then we identify what are normally being called the dynamic hypothesis. So what are the causes for the problem? Using causal loop diagrams, a way to represent a system map of what is happening and what are the main leverage points in the system. Then we'll go ahead with archetypes and patterns of behavior. These are general building blocks or parts of a model that we can identify and observe in real systems. So we'll see that we don't always have to recreate a new model to analyze an emerging problem. Often we already have information available to adapt what we know to that specific context and then proceed with the analysis. Then we go ahead with the actual development of a mathematical model, so with stocks and flows and equations and checking the units of measure. This will be the fifth part of the module. Finally, once we know the basics of the methodology and how models can be created, we are going to analyze its suitability to the green economy concept. So we'll see how system dynamics can help by assessing investments, avoided costs, added benefits across social, economic, and environmental dimensions of green economy strategies. So here we really want to see not only what type of model has to be created, but what type of analysis can be done and should be done to make sure that we truthfully represent the green economy definition in our models. Finally, we'll have some examples of how system dynamics has been used already to do green economy assessments. There are cases for Indonesia already, there are cases for Africa, for Latin America. So system dynamics has been used all over the world already to assess different aspects of the green economy, moving from a global assessment with UNEP's Green Economy Report to more detailed assessments like the Heart of Borneo exercise done with WWF and UNEP, but also the ongoing work with UNDP in Caltech, for instance, and also with the national demo model that is available as part of this course. Finally, Module 6 of this course has to do with models and methodologies for green economy assessments that reach beyond system dynamics. So the last module will give you an overview of what are the key methodologies and tools that are currently being used and how suitable they are to assess green economy interventions. Now, these may not be the best tools that are available to do an integrated analysis, but since they're already being used, it's worth understanding what they can deliver and how they work, so that potentially they can use in combination with other ones. We have several cases in which, for instance, system dynamics was used to analyze physical flows in the water sector and energy sector, for instance, and then a CG model was used to analyze the macroeconomic impacts of fiscal policy or other similar interventions. These two models can be combined. So in this case, Module 6 really addresses strengths and weaknesses of each of these tools and also looks at what is the complementarity for using them jointly and deliver the analysis that is required. Finally, I hope that you will really enjoy the course, especially in relation to how the green economy can be assessed with the use of system dynamics tools. These tools can be customized at the local level, can be made relevant, and what really matters is that they're being used to make so that we can analyze all the short, medium, and longer term benefits and potentially drawbacks of policies so that planning can be improved for sustainable development.